$800 a month. That's what some retirees are living on, and not in a cardboard box or the kid's basement. Real homes, real peace, real towns you've probably never heard of because you weren't supposed to. You've been sold the idea that retirement means savings accounts, golf carts, and overpriced active living communities. But what if that's a scam? What if the actual loopholes are small? Towns no one talks about where the rent is $400, healthcare is practically subsidized, and the government forgot to inflate everything into oblivion? Today, we're exposing 10 hidden towns where Social Security still means security. Some sit under giant chain boulders. One so isolated deer outnumber people. And one, get this, froze property taxes. Like it's 1993 and never looked back. Think you know the best cities to retire? Let's find out. But fair warning, this isn't your average top 10 list. This is the kind of info most people never hear. The kind of towns that don't make brochures but feel like cheat codes. Choosing wrong could cost you thousands or your sanity. No pressure. And trust me, you're not ready for what's next. Wait till you see the town where soaking in a mineral spring costs less than a latte. Hit subscribe, because missing this might be the most expensive free mistake you ever make. Let's break it down. Number 10, Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. Truth or Consequences is one of the only towns in America named after a game show, and somehow that's still not the weirdest thing about living here on $800 a month. This place, locals call it T or C, looks like a mirage that forgot to disappear. Median rent around $650 to $750 for a modest apartment. Cost of living roughly 22% below the national average. Crime higher than average until you realize half the crime is just loose dogs chasing tumbleweeds. And here's the kicker. New Mexico exempts Social Security from state income tax, plus offers low-income property tax rebates that make retirees' dollars stretch like taffy left in the desert sun. What nobody tells you is this town sits on a literal network of geothermal hot springs. You can soak in a mineral bath for $10, which is cheaper than a fast food combo and way better for your joints. Reddit quote, real vibe, fictional wording. Living in TRC is like retiring inside a postcard someone spilled coffee on. Weird, warm, and surprisingly relaxing. Consequences. The upside, your Social Security check goes from barely breathing to unexpectedly functional. The downside, summer feels like God left the oven open. Look, Truth or Consequences is hot, not vacation. Hot, not spring break hot. More like your flip-flops melt into the sidewalk. Hot, the kind of heat where you question your life choices by noon and start bargaining with the sky and the wind. Oh, it doesn't cool you, it sandblasts you. It's like living in a spa town run by a disgruntled weather deity. Truth or Consequences is a town that shouldn't work on paper, but then you see retirees thriving here like it's a secret retirement glitch in the Matrix. And surprisingly, it kind of is. If you think a town named after a game show is odd, wait till you see the next place, where gravity itself is optional. Number 9, Pineville, Kentucky. The town that's literally under a rock and somehow still under the radar. There's a 200-ton boulder looming over Pineville, Kentucky. It's held in place with a giant chain because apparently the best retirement plans involve gravity management. Nestled in the heart of Appalachia, Pineville isn't just scenic. It's the weirdly affordable kind of scenic. Rent averages between $500 and $650 a month for a one-bedroom. The cost of living is 28% below the national average. And guess what? Kentucky doesn't tax your Social Security. Natata, zip, property taxes. If you're 65 or older, the homestead exemption knocks off up to $46,350 from the assessed value of your home. And if you make under a certain amount, the state doubles down with utility assistance, food benefits, and Medicaid. Eligibility that's shockingly generous. If you know where to look. Crime lower than the state average. Most of it is. Petty stuff like meth and deer-related. Traffic accidents. Okay, not petty but predictable. And yes, the boulder is real. It's called chained rock, and there's an actual plaque that reads, "This rock was chained to protect the town below." So if you ever feel financially unstable, at least you're not geologically unstable. Living in Pineville means trading Whole Foods for Dollar General and sushi for catfish. That may or may not have a name, but the emotional payoff, huge. People here know your name, your dog's name, and your social security number, probably. It's not flashy, but it works. There's a slow magic in towns like this, where days stretch out, not your budget. Pineville's economy might be quiet, but the local gossip network runs at gigabit speed. Be careful who you flirt with at the diner. You might be related. Okay, can we talk about the humidity for a second? Kentucky summers are like living in someone's mouth. You walk outside and your clothes stick to you like cling wrap on leftover guilt. It's not heat, it's soup. And don't even try to M. Number 8, Bonners Ferry, Idaho. Bonners Ferry, Idaho. Population, barely enough to fill a Costco. Vibe, small town America, but make it frontier. Edition, this is the kind of place where people still wave at you from porches, either because they're friendly or wondering if you're lost. But here's what matters. Average rent around $650 per month. Cost of living 21% below the national average. Crime rate low enough that the police blotter once listed a scapegoat as a public disturbance. In Idaho, no state tax on Social Security. Benefits. That's right. Natata zilch. Keep it all. Bonus. Idaho's grocery tax. Credit actually sends retirees money back at the end of the year because apparently the government here remembers you're human, what you gain and what you give up. Emotionally, Bonners Ferry feels like the last page of a Norman Rockwell painting. Financially, it's one of the rare towns where $800 a month won't get you laughed out of the bank. But, and this is important, you will be trading nighttime for darkness and culture for elk. The nearest shopping mall is technically in another state. There's no Uber here. If you want a ride, you either know a guy or marry him. Okay, let's talk about the winters. Snow doesn't fall here. It stages a hostile takeover. You will shovel daily with something that looks like a medieval weapon. And if you don't shovel, the snow plow will lovingly bury your car like a Viking funeral for your mobility. Now imagine this. Crisp mountain air, the crunch of snow under your boots, steam rising from your morning coffee while a moose watches you from the edge of the woods like some judgmental wilderness therapist. It's cold, yes, but it's clean. It's quiet. And best of all, it's yours. Also fun. Fact, in 2018, Bonners Ferry voted to allow ATVs on city streets. So yes, retiring here might also involve a 4W-wheeled midlife renaissance. Remember Pineville's chained rock? Well, Bonners Ferry just trusts gravity to do its job. Number 7, John Day, Oregon. John Day, Oregon. Population just over 1,700. Named after a guy who got robbed, starved, and still ended up on the map. And honestly, that's the energy here. Overlooked, scrappy, and weirdly serene. This town sits in Grant County, one of the least populated counties in Oregon, where the air is clean, the vibe is vintage, and the rent is, wait for it, around $600 to $750 per month. Cost of living nearly 25% below the national average. And Oregon, no state sales tax. Also, if you're a senior on limited income, the state offers property tax deferral programs, meaning you can legally not pay taxes until you're long gone. Even better, rural health access. Here is solid thanks to the Blue Mountain Hospital District, which doesn't care how big your bank account is, just whether your blood pressure is still trying. Oh, and the place is surrounded by actual fossil beds. You can literally hike through prehistory between breakfast and bingo. Reddit. Quote, John Day feels like we're old. People go to age in peace, but with better pie and fewer rules. What it's like to actually live there. Here's the catch. John Day is quiet. Like capital Q. Quiet. There are no bars, no malls, no Uber, and the fanciest restaurant might serve chicken fried steak and pump gas. But that's also the magic. It's not designed for tourists, influencers, or anyone trying to monetize their lifestyle. It's for living simply, cheaply, fully. In John Day, dining out means your neighbor invites you over for elk stew and political opinions. Okay, real talk. The internet here is about as fast as a mule wearing snowshoes. Streaming Netflix? Forget it. You're buffering like it's 2007. And don't even think about ordering fancy vegan cheese. Unless you plan to wait 3 weeks and explain to someone named Carl why you need non-dairy brie. Chicago spends billions on surveillance tech. Meanwhile, in John Day, crime is so low, the sheriff's office closes early on Fridays. Number 6, Cumberland, Maryland. Let's talk about Cumberland, Maryland. Population, barely 19,000. Vibes, civil. War ghost town meets Appalachian thrift store. It's the kind of place where trains still matter and your neighbor owns a cannonball for reasons. And yet, this quiet little town has somehow become a retirement loophole so sneaky. It's practically a bug in the matrix. Here's what Cumberland pulls off. Average monthly rent, $731. That's not a typo. That's a lease signed in pencil. Cost of living 27% below the national average. You could live here and have money for hobbies. Maryland tax breaks. People over 65 get generous property tax credits and pension exclusions. Even Social Security is off limits for state tax. Healthcare access. The local hospital system punches above its weight in Maryland. Caps medical rate hikes. Crime rate, middle of the road. Not crime-free, but not carry pepper spray to the mailbox levels either. And yes, it's nestled in the mountains, which means it's scenic as hell. Just don't expect Starbucks to find it on a map. What's the trade-off? You get quiet, you get cheap, but you also get a time capsule that's been rewinding since 1974. Don't move here expecting Whole Foods. Cumberland gives you coal history, church suppers, and a Dollar General so big it's probably visible from orbit. Retiring in Cumberland is like winning the lottery. We may win the lottery if your prize is a front porch and nobody bothering you for 5 miles in any direction. Okay, so here's the deal with Cumberland. It's got one of the cutest downtowns you'll ever see, and no one's in it. It's like a movie set where the actors left. There's a pedestrian mall, antique shops, cafes with 2-star Yelp reviews, and a historic train station. All vibes, no Wi-Fi. Don't even try streaming Netflix on a Friday night. Unless you enjoy buffering as a lifestyle. Picture this early morning. Fog rolling through the hills. Number 5, Bluefield, West Virginia. Bluefield, West Virginia. Population, barely 9,000. Altitude, high enough to get snow before your calendar says winter. Reputation, forgotten coal town. But here's the twist. Bluefield might be one of the last places in America where you can actually live on Social Security alone and still have enough left over for a hot dog and a haircut. Let's run the receipts. Average rent, $600. That's not rent. That's a polite donation. Cost of living 29% below the national average. Crime rate significantly lower than the state average and way lower than big cities. State income tax on Social Security. West Virginia used to tax it, but as of 2022, they're phasing it out completely for most retirees. Healthcare. The area is part of a rural healthcare access zone, which means better coverage options and actual proximity to hospitals, not just an urgent care in a gas station. Bluefield is a retirement cheat code if you're okay trading sushi restaurants for squirrel sightings. You won't find yoga studios on every corner, but you will find Appalachian charm, cheap living, and enough porch space to finally write that memoir no one asked for. Living in Bluefield is like being on the set of a Hallmark movie, but half the cast forgot to show up. In Bluefield, $1 still means something, possibly a lot of things. You can pay rent, buy a biscuit, and still have change left to yell at clouds. Okay, so quick sidebar. Bluefield has this weird obsession with calling itself nature's errand. Condition city. Like, it literally brags about being cold. Their town slogan is weather-based passive aggression. Oh, you're hot in Atlanta? Too bad. We're 64 degrees in July. Sucks to be you. Honestly, respect. Picture this. A quiet morning in the mountains. The breeze feels like fall, even in June. You step outside with a mug of cheap coffee, the smell of pine in the air, and nothing on your to-do list except enjoy this. Number 4, Presidio, Texas. Presidio, Texas, where West Texas ends, and whatever comes after civilization begins. This desert town sits right on the U.S.-Mexico border, about 3 hours from the nearest Walmart, or as Texans call that, just down the road. It's not for everyone, but if your goal is to retire somewhere quiet, cheap, and completely off the radar, Presidio is it. Here's why it's the perfect retirement escape. Hatch. Median rent, approximately $580 per month. That's not a typo. That's a plot twist. Cost of living, 30% below the U.S. average. Texas has no state income tax, meaning more of your social security check actually stays in your account. Property tax freezes for seniors 65 plus under Texas law. So your expenses stop aging when you do. Crime. Low, like suspiciously low. Maybe because everyone knows everyone and there's nowhere to hide. Presidio isn't convenient, but that's kind of the point. Retiring here feels like opting out of the simulation. No HOA fees, no suburban gossip, no $7 lattes, just wide skies, warm winters, and the kind of solitude that makes you weird in a good way. Presidio is the kind of place where the post office closes early for siesta and no one questions it. The town doesn't have a movie theater, but honestly, when your rent's $580, you become the main character. Look, Presidio is so remote your Amazon Prime order shows up like it's being smuggled in by horseback. You don't go out here. You plan an expedition. Groceries? Hope. You like dusty cans and mystery brands. But hey, if you've always wanted to hoard beans like it's the end times, you're home. Imagine waking up in a quiet adobe house. The desert sun creeps over the mountains. The air smells like sagebrush and dry heat. No honking, no neighbors, just you, the wind, and a cup of coffee strong enough to make you forget you once lived near a freeway. Number 3, Mountain View, Arkansas. Welcome to Mountain View, Arkansas, where time forgot to rush, and so did the rent. This town is buried deep in the Ozark Mountains, surrounded by forests, rivers, and the soft twang of someone playing banjo on a front porch. It's known as the folk music capital of the world, which sounds like a tourism slogan until you walk past your 5th live Dullimer jam session before lunch. But here's the real kicker for retirees. Median rent around $575 per month. Cost of living roughly 27% below the national average. Violent crime rate 1/3 of the national average, meaning your biggest risk might be clogging your arteries on fried pie. Arkansas tax code, Social Security not taxed, senior perks, low-income property tax credits, plus a state homestead exemption if you hit 65 and still remember your own birthday. Basically, it's a place where your monthly social security check doesn't just get you shelter, it gets you peace. This is the kind of town where you can literally afford to retire into the woods and not mean it as a metaphor for giving up. Your budget stretches like yoga pants at a potluck, and because there's live bluegrass music almost constantly, you don't even need a streaming subscription. The Ozarks provide mountain views where people retire to play guitar badly in public and everyone claps anyway. You haven't really lived until you've watched a 78-year-old shred a mandolin harder than your nephew on TikTok. Okay, but real talk, Mountain View doesn't do fast. The Wi-Fi slower than molasses in January. You want sushi? LOL. You want Thai food? Try hot sauce on catfish. It's charming, but if you're used to DoorDash and fiber internet, you're going to feel like you've time-traveled back to 1994. Bring patience and maybe a satellite dish. Picture this. You wake up to the smell of pine trees. The morning air is crisp. Birds are singing, and someone's playing fiddle across the street. Number 2, Ironwood, Michigan. Welcome to Ironwood, where the Upper Peninsula of Michigan starts flirting with Wisconsin, and the population is still smaller than a high school graduating class in Phoenix. This place is remote. Like, you need a snowmobile more than a Tesla remote. But here's what Ironwood does better than most. Cost almost nothing. And we're talking legit livable. On Social Security alone. Check the data. Median rent around $600 per month. Median home price under $90,000. Cost of living 27% below national average. Crime rate low unless you count black bears. Rating bird feeders. Michigan tax perks. Social Security. Income is exempt from state tax. Bonus. Low-income seniors can get serious breaks on property taxes. Ironwood is basically your affordable retirement bunker if you don't mind the cold and snow. And did I mention cold? This is one of those towns where your $800 check doesn't just cover rent. It covers peace, privacy, and probably a pair of snowshoes. There's something strangely comforting about Ironwood. Maybe it's the quiet. Maybe it's the lake effect snow muffling your existential dread. Or maybe it's the fact that people here still wave at each other even when it's 6 degrees out and their eyebrows are frozen. Half the year it's snowing, the other half we're recovering from the snow, but I can afford steak. And nobody honks at me. So yeah, I'm good. Ironwood. Come for the cheap rent. Stay because your car won't start until May. Let's be honest. If you don't love snow, Ironwood will break your spirit. They don't just have snow days, they have snow months. The local hardware store has more shovels than cereal. You'll get to know terms like lake effect band and Arctic front real fast. Your favorite neighbor, probably your plow guy. Picture this. Morning sun, glinting off snow-covered pine trees. The air's so crisp it snaps. You sip coffee on a porch that cacks with frost, watching a deer cross your backyard like it owns the place. Number 1, Valentine, Nebraska. You made it the number 1 spot. And it's Valentine, Nebraska. Wait, where exactly? Valentine is the kind of town where if you blink during a cross-country drive, you'll miss it. But if you don't blink, you'll find one of the last places in America where you can retire on nothing but Social Security and still have cash left for a fishing rod, a diner burger, and maybe a used truck from 1994. This place is cheap, peaceful, and aggressively unfancy, which is exactly why it works. Let's hit the numbers. Median rent, $550 per month. Median home price around $115,000. Cost of living 25% below U.S. average. Crime rate low, unless you're a white-tailed deer in hunting season. Taxes. Nebraska does tax Social Security, but Valentine offers property tax relief and senior assistance. Programs that keep your real out of pocket surprisingly manageable. Valentine isn't about thrills. It's about room. Room to breathe. Room to fish. Room to sit on your porch and judge passing clouds. It's a town of 2,600 people and approximately 11 million cows. And yeah, they all vote. There's something weirdly poetic about retiring in a town named Valentine. It's like Nebraska's last love letter to middle-class dignity. And let's be real, at $800 a month, you're not living lavishly. But here, you're not just surviving, you're unbothered. My neighbor borrowed my snowblower, then returned it with cookies. If you hate that kind of thing, this town isn't for you. Valentine is so quiet your echo might develop anxiety, but hey, at least you can afford therapy here. Valentine has no Target, no Trader Joe's, no Uber. The local nightlife, it's a Dairy Queen that closes at 9 o'clock. Their idea of a crazy Friday is a fish fry and maybe bingo if things get out of hand. You'll spend more time waving at people than spending money. It's like stepping into a 1983 postcard and nobody told the town it's not still 1983. Picture this. You wake up to the sound of nothing.